Okay, welcome back. We're just finished talking about me. I have an office in Founders Hall, room 323Q. I'm not there very often, so don't bother to use that phone. But the College of Business Administration number is shown. I prefer Canvas email over university email, but that will work. I'm probably not going to have, honest to God, real office hours this semester. Don't know for sure. But I'm also always available for virtual office hours, or if you really wanted to meet me in person, well, we could arrange something. Okay, so enough about me. So I'm going to ask you in the journal, the first journal, I'm going to ask you, where are you on this scale of 1 to 10 with regard to how prepared you are for this particular class? And a 1 would be, I have no idea why I signed up for this thing. Hopefully that won't be the case. 10 would be, I've been doing malware analysis and defense for 10 years. I could probably teach this class with my eyes closed. Probably not too many people in that area. Most people are going to be, I've got the prerequisites. Yeah, I run an antivirus. I know a little bit about this. I know some of the things the rules I'm supposed to follow, that kind of stuff. So, 3s, 4s, and 5s, that's kind of what I expect. Okay, I kind of mentioned that I don't use PowerPoint very often. So this is one of the few times you're actually going to see PowerPoint. All right, so now we're going to take a tour of the Canvas course. So let's just start with, welcome. This is a fun course. Most people, when they're done, they go, wow, that was a blast. I really enjoyed that. It is very deep in some places. We talk about, CPU architecture and, assembly level code, things like that. There's a lot of stuff in there. But again, it's more about concepts and philosophies. This is just a warning to watch the videos, which you're obviously doing right now. So it's lecture heavy. There's tons of hands-on stuff, which I hope you're actually going to do. I mean, watching me do the hands-on is no way to learn how to do this. You can't learn, I'm using Wireshark as an example. You can't learn Wireshark by watching somebody else. You're going to have to do it. Independent study. So lectures, and this is the part that's kind of the interesting. This course is the same in every practical way. If this was a face-to-face class, you'd have to show up, pay attention, and take notes. You can't sleep in the classroom. Well, same thing here. You're going to have to watch the videos, pay attention, and take notes. It's absolutely identical in every way I can make it. You are going to need a Windows-based machine. I will tell you that I really strongly recommend that you actually find an honest-to-God real Windows-based machine. And if you have to use emulation, okay, but I not recommend it, not at all. And if you go borrow a machine, like if you check out a machine from the library, they don't have administrator rights, and so you won't be able to install anything. That's not going to work. So just some notes about navigation. Things to do first, get a copy of the book. Yay. Watch the videos, which you're already doing, and then apply for an Azure for Students account. Okay, I'm just going to go down the list here. Now, just to give you a reminder, this is the teacher's view of things, so I can see an awful lot more than what you can. For example, I have a bunch of these things already queued up and ready to go. I do have an announcement for Windows 10 that talks about, I want you to download a specific version of Windows 10. Okay, pay attention. A specific version. And then using the instructions to get an Azure. And I'm going to have a video on installing this thing, so do not install it in advance. It's okay to download the media and get the activation key, but don't do anything with it yet. Okay, so assignments. Again, everything's all built. There's a readiness survey. It's ungraded. I need to know where you are. Are you a computer expert or you're a computer novice? What kind of, I ask you about your machine and, how much memory you got, what other courses you've taken. It's just information for me so I can tailor the content to meet where you are. And then a syllabus and intro quiz. This one is graded. This is about, did you pay attention to this video that we're talking about right now? Okay. Do you have a copy of the book? I'm going to ask you, well, what's on page 4? That kind of stuff. The journals. And then the regular assignments, and then the quizzes, the term project, and all that stuff. This is all queued up and ready to rock and roll. There's 3 discussion forums. I don't know if I'm going to be using them all or not. I tell you, I haven't decided yet. Introductions is where you can go in and say, hey, my name is Bob. I got, 6 cows and 4 pigs, and I'm graduating in the fall. Course feedback is when you can talk among yourselves, like, hey, do you need to get a study group together or whatever? And then grading notes. This is where I come in and say, okay, now, the average score was an 85. Now, quite frankly, in independent study, I probably won't be doing this because if there's one person, okay, no, let's change the subject, the scenario. Let's say there's 2 people in the class, and I say the average score was an 80, and you look at your score. I bet you could do the math and figure out what the other person's score was. That ain't good. Okay, so probably won't be using the grading notes discussion forum. I'm going to skip these because they don't mean anything in the teacher's view, but I am going to go to the syllabus. So this is the link to the simple syllabus thing. And here's all the due dates. Normally it's 2 things due, except for the first week, because we have that extra readiness survey. So normally it's, quiz assignment, quiz assignment, quiz assignment, except for the last day, which ends on a Friday because that's when the semester ends. So I'm going to go to modules because here's kind of the bulk of the thing. There's several sections. There's a start here section, things you have to go through perhaps just once. A supplemental material section. So I have some stuff that it's out there now, like a PDF on applying for an Azure for students and an acknowledgement of risk, because I really don't want you to be, using what you learned here to do evil. Plagiarism and a tool list, and all the rest of these things are just queued up, ready to go whenever a chapter appears that has this in there. This is where the actual guts of it. Weekly tasks and video lectures. So you're going to go to here. I'm just going to pick one. You're going to go here and do whatever the heck it says. It says extract these files, read chapter 3, watch these videos, have the lecture notes handy before taking the quiz, take quiz 1, and afterwards do journal 3. That's basically how those things work. Okay? So every week you're going to go down here to weekly tasks and video lectures and do whatever the heck it says to do. And then this is kind of weird. This is my lecture notes. I'm just going to grab one again. So here are the lecture notes and plus some detailed comments about the hands-on activities we're supposed to be doing. And again, this is released after you've done this stuff. It's kind of weird. And there's so much material that I actually ended up with like a table of contents in here just to kind of help you find things, just because, there's so much stuff in here. It's kind of confusing. Here's the lecture notes for the first week and the hands-on and the supplemental materials, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so let me get back. So that's about it. I'm going to go through these just one at a time just to give you a tour. So we've seen this screen before. This is the welcome screen. Okay, and then next one is a little bit about the course, a little bit about me. Office hours, I'm probably not going to have any real face-to-face. The textbook, a PDF version of the syllabus in case you don't like simple syllabus or you're doing something offline. The slide presentation that we just went through, and then the course objectives. And then here's the class schedule. Now, I do this because this is the official schedule, because things might change. You never know. So if changes occur, this is where it's going to be. Rarely do I go back and amend the actual syllabus. I amend this part. Okay. So here's all the things, the chapter we're on, the hands-on we're on, and the what's due, assignment 1, journal. I didn't necessarily put the syllabus and the readiness survey in there, but nevertheless. So typically assignments appear 2 weeks before they're due, and quizzes and exams are 1 week before they're due. Okay, so if you're new to Canvas, here's some stuff, and you might think, I don't need to watch any of that. I know how to do all that. Well, yeah, I've had a student that maybe have been using Canvas for years, and I say, okay, and they say, wait, you want me to email the updated assignment? And I go, no, I want you to resubmit the assignment. He goes, what? You can do that? And I'm thinking, yes, you can do that. So yes, you might not know all the things there is to know about how to work Canvas. And so here's some place. You're going to have a common starting place. You're going to have to know the difference between a file explorer and an internet browser. You're going to need to be able to create folders and copy files, unzip files that you download, extract files, open a command prompt, and change drive letters and change directories at the command prompt. Ooh, okay. All right. That's what I'm expecting you to bring to the table. And then the rest of this pops on over to those, how to apply for an Azure for Students account, those kinds of things. Okay, so that's about it. Again, the way it works is every week you go to the section on, weekly tasks and video lectures and do whatever it is I ask you to do. Okay, that's a whirlwind tour of Canvas and the course. I'll see you guys again in a real lecture video.